why he's been gone. I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to tell. So
All
I
right.
will let him tell you that on air. I'll ask him, and he'll be able to hopefully tell us the whole story, because it's one that I definitely want getting out. So does he.
In other news, I see Fulton County fired that Barron character.
You know, I haven't been on any of that today. I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, the elections director, Barron, has been fired.
Oh, that I did know. I knew that yesterday.
Yeah. I just saw it a little bit ago.
Corey, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Jeremy, a pleasure. John, always a pleasure. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. No obligation. But on the Facebook page, if you're there, you can scroll up and click on that link with the X Concealed Carry Insurance and tell me that it's taking you to that page. That I need to know that. And then we're getting ready to do some promotions that are going to be a lot of fun. As in, I'm going to be paying winners lifetime memberships to the Second Amendment Foundation, okay? We're going to do that in conjunction with X Insurance. Ciao, Bambini, Angeline. I love you, Angeline. How you doing? You guys should be so glad you didn't hear what Greg said before I was live. Actually, I think you all would have liked it. Special guest today, guys and gals. Corey, when you click on it, did it open up the X page for you on Facebook? On the page, no, the post up. Just click on the picture of the concealed carry liability insurance there from X. Click on that picture. Should be a picture. Just click on the picture, guys. Greg, how you doing, man?
Oh, another day in the puzzle factory.
The Puzzle Factory. Let's see. We are. It's what I call jump ball. Hello, Martin. Okay, Jeremy. So when you clicked on the photograph there, it opened, right? It should have. I can't do it right now from where I'm at. I want to make sure it did. It did earlier, but. Hey, Greg.
Yes.
He says no one is answering.
I just picked up and he's not there.
Okay, hold on.
Lee on hold.
Roger that.
Someone has turned my ringer off.
I bet it was Shanto. Brian Costa, good question. It should not. No. But you never know. They might want to be more presence, right, than they are now. That could easily happen. Guys, a special show today. Today is the return of Lee the Gunwriter Williams down in Sarasota. You know him as a longtime regular contributor to the program. Some of you new listeners have not seen Lee before, so let me get you over there. There you go. Lee's the real deal. Thanks for the update, Jeremy. All right, guys, get ready to go to work here.
All right, we're close.
Roger that.
And 30.
This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the gunbroker.com studios on the Crossbreed Holsters Platinum microphone.
They're never going to stop us here.
It's 2021, and we're in a new decade. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome inside Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, the gunbroker.com studios, the Crossbreed Holsters microphone. All of it being presented to you today by X Insurance, and a lot of fun stuff coming up in our relationship with X Insurance. I'm going to be putting out, you're going to want to watch the I'll explain it all later. But suffice to say, excuse me, my producer made me laugh during the break when he said something funny, and I choked on some of my iced Defender coffee. I'm still recovering from that episode. Blame it on Greg. But nonetheless, I will be giving away grand prize winners. Will be getting free lifetime memberships paid for by moi to the Second Amendment Foundation. We're going to be working in conjunction with X Insurance on a lot of different things. Welcome to the program. Today's a special day. If you're watching on the video screen, here's why. Oh, and you know all this is brought to you by X Insurance, right? Okay. Because I want you to take a look. If you're watching on your screens, look who's here. Oh, the return. Lee, the Gunrider Williams. How you doing, man?
Man, it is good to be back, brother. It is so good to be back.
I am grinning from ear to ear, and I know you are too, homie.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother.
Welcome home. For those of you who don't know Lee, the Gunrider Williams, maybe you're new to the program, and many of you are. Gosh, Lee, how long has it been? I mean, time flies.
Since August. 5 months.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah,
it was
maybe
August
6
of
months. Oh.
It was August of last year.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
You see, it's been a year and a half. That's insane.
It is, brother. It certainly is.
Let me reintroduce you to some new listeners and new fans. Lee is famously known as the Gunrider. Well, I guess how do I say this now? I don't want to. I have to let you do this. How much can we say?
I am a recovering journalist, to put it mildly. Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with your readers, with your listeners. You know, working at my day job, which was as an editor for a daily newspaper, I worked for a really good guy in a really good newspaper chain, and then that chain bought another chain, and we put that other chain in charge. And even though they publish, things like there's one magazine on cage fighting, and they have magazines on the NFL and all this stuff, they went a little dinky-dow when they found out that one of their publications involved guns. So I was ordered not to publish anymore upon pain of being terminated. And as much as I enjoyed guns, it was my newspapering job that paid the bills, brother, that paid all the bills. Well, as of this week, me and another good friend are no longer with this newspaper chain. So you can look forward to more gun writing coming and a new website. And I'll probably have that up and running next week.
And we're going to be linking all over it together with you. I see great things happening with Armed American Radio.
Yeah.
Listen, listeners, here's the deal. I have been asked this question, Lee. I've lost count. What happened to Lee? Where is Lee?
Yeah.
And, you and I obviously stayed in touch because we're not only colleagues, but we're good friends. And I knew what was happening, and it killed me because I could not wait for the day that I could hear you say what you just said publicly, because here's what you heard. I mean, I know you heard it from Lee, but let me put it, in my own vernacular. Anti-gun newspaper takes away pro-gun column, and you want to cancel culture before it was even cancel culture. Okay, it's been going on forever, silencing the right to bear arms. And I'll tell you what, and I'm going to give this to you. That should be your book. Silencing the right to bear arms. You should write that. I'll help you. I'll pen it with you.
I'm telling you, brother, it was a new experience, in trying to deal with incredibly far left politics at this certain newspaper chain that shall be.
We can't say it.
Oh, I know.
Can we say the name?
I know. Gannett.
Gannett, by the way, owns USA. That's USA Today.
And they own, they're the largest chain right now in the country.
Yeah.
And, the guys like me, the editors and the reporters from the previous chain, Gatehouse, a lot of us are like cowboys in their corporate world. So, there are a few that are getting sniped every day. And, we don't fit into their corporate culture. We like guns. We swear. We, drink whiskey. It's a unique group. And we really stomped on the Terra. But, in this new corporate, incredibly left world, you can't say things about guns. And you certainly can't write about guns because, Mark, they're evil and horrible things to have around, except when you actually need one. And the gun culture to them doesn't exist. They view anybody who owns a gun is lumped into the same category. They're just crazy, redneck, right-wing fanatics. And, in the time that I started writing about guns, by the way, on February 10th, the gun writer would have turned 8 years old.
Wow.
So it kicked a lot of butt for a while. You know how many people came out of the closet to me? Hey, man, I just want you, and I'm talking journalists too. Mm-hmm. I just want you to know that I own some guns and I like it, but I'm not going to say that around here. And I always kept everybody's confidence, closeted gun owners. It was amazing, brother. It was amazing. Oh, and closeted libertarians, closeted conservatives. You can't question anything. It's the weirdest culture I've ever been in. And, I'm researching options here, looking for options, but I guarantee you guns, I will always be a part of it because I'm not going to put myself in a position where I can't say, Mark, hey, I'm a gun owner. And you know what? I'm proud of it. Yeah. And I carry, and I really like guns.
I got to tell you, let me read a couple comments here before I get with you on some of these things. We're going to talk about this with Lee Williams, the gun writer, back after a year and a half absence because they didn't like talking about guns. And God forbid he did. He couldn't even go on the radio show. You didn't want him talking about guns. Guns. Oh, it make you sick to your stomach. David Wilcox says, hey, Lee. Susie says, we've missed you, Lee Williams. Scott Templeton says, Ben, forever. Doobie says, the gun writer, welcome home, brother. That's Mark, man. We love Mark. Corey
Oh,
says
I'm
Lee's
so
on. It's going to
happy.
be a slamming show. Okay, so yeah, we are, and yeah, Martin recognizes the pop filter on the EV RE20 microphone. Yeah, I had to do some voice work, and it was popping for me. So, all right, Lee, I am, it frustrated me. How many times did I call you and say,
Oh,
dude,
brother.
I'll put
And how
a
many times was
robot
I
on your
beating my
voice?
head in the wall? I was beating my head in the wall, and it was bloody. Yeah.
Well,
But, you got to look at it from a business perspective, too. Why would any business nowadays want to, just shut off access to everybody who owns a gun? Because there's a lot more of us than there are of them. From a business perspective, it's just a crazy idea.
well, you
But
got to look
they
at
don't care.
you got to look at country singers, who come out and all of a sudden go anti-gun. You got to look at pro-gun activists who come out all of a sudden and go anti-gun. You got to look at not anti-gun, but whatever. You got to look at things like actors and actresses who apparently don't care that 50% of the population isn't going to watch their movie. I mean, look, that must be what it feels like to have just gobs of money to the point where who cares about the other 50%? But I got to.
I'd say
I have. It's important, though.
51%, brother.
What, Lee,
51%. There are more of us.
Oh, sure. There's no question. And look, I got to let listeners know this. I would call Lee on a fairly regular basis, and I'd say, Lee, dude, do you know how much fun it would be to come on, and I'll put you in one of those robot voices, and we'll give you a really funny name, and no one will know it's you. And, you just can't do it, man. I get it, but we tried,
30.
I think in hindsight, it would have been really fun to do that. Hey, Greg.
I do too.
Hey,
Yes.
Greg, can we mess with his voice over there from the network?
I don't have those capabilities.
You don't. Well, I think I do on here, but we're going to have to do it on a later show. If I was smart, I'd have put it on there just for fun. We could have said, this is what it would have sounded like with Lee last month or even last week. Lee, we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up getting caught up with you. And then, my God, we've got a year and a half worth of stuff to talk about and a whole new administration. And the gun writer is back in the saddle with a scab. Oh, he's got it all. Picture him on the horse,
20.
pen in one hand, gun on the hip, rifle in the other, reins in his teeth. Fill my hand, you son of a gun rider. We'll be right back. So I got the gun writer on, and I didn't hit record on the video. Really?
Yeah, basically. Sounds like it. I don't think you can mess with his voice either, even if you had the capability on that end, because I'm sending the signal to you.
You're sending it out.
Yeah, you're not sending it to me.
If he called in on my lines and I ran the call through you, we could do that, but he didn't.
No, you'd have to run it through whatever device you're going to use, then send it to me.
Correct. And I can do that, but as long as he calls my end and I do that on my end and then send it to you, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do that next time around. Yeah, Scott's brain fart, dude. I'd call it more than a brain fart. It's called a really dumbass move on my part. But I'll hit the record on this segment coming out. All right, now here's something interesting. I'll tell you this because, sausage making and its family. I was eating some pistachios before the show. And I got one caught up inside one of my teeth. And it was bugging the shit out of me because I couldn't get rid of it. So I had someone bring me a toothpick. And I was dying to go to a break so I could get rid of that pistachio stuck in my tooth. Actually, Scott Templeton, I could argue that a little bit of lead slingers is not good for brain fart remedy, but may cause brain farting. All right, let's go back to the break screen, and I will hit record. How about that? Heating and air conditioning unit went into Armed American Radio's new studio today.
Oh, nice.
It is highly likely. Oh, and the vent that's going on the front is cut in the AAR logo.
Oh, sweet.
And it is highly likely. Well, tomorrow Comcast will be out dropping the business lines and the internet and a phone, believe it or not, because it also comes with a phone system, but whatever. They'll be out tomorrow between 10 and noon. Drywall will likely go up. We getting close?
And
30.
30.
This upcoming segment of Armed American Radio is being sponsored by GunBroker.com, the world's largest online marketplace to buy and sell firearms, ammo, and related accessories. That's GunBroker.com. Welcome back to the show. Indeed, welcome back inside these GunBroker.com studios. I am Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom, coast to coast, and everywhere in between, including parts unknown, from the GunBroker.com studios on the Crossbreed Holsters microphone. By the way, quick, before I remind you that all of this is presented by X Insurance, make sure to check out crossbreedholsters.com today. 35% off, I believe, over at N8 Tactical as well. Check the discounts out over there. You're going to start hearing some N8 Tactical spots running as we begin. I've got, oh my gosh, I've lost count of how many of those holsters were sent to me, and they are just incredibly comfortable. So they're working there with Crossbreed, and N8 Tactical are now one. So it's just a combination of products. All of this being presented to you today by X Insurance. If you have not looked at Armed American Radio Facebook page yet today, please do. Later today, probably tomorrow, and I say tomorrow, well, tomorrow is Friday. It might be Monday. The Armed American Radio website is now migrating over. So if you try to go there today, you will get that it is under construction. We are working to get that open and ready for and relaunch for you tomorrow. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. But check the Facebook page out because we're going to start doing some promotions on the Facebook page. Really simple to get involved. Like and share the post. Click on a particular link, and your name is in the running, and I will pay to make you a life member of the Second Amendment Foundation and get a phone call from Mr. Alan Gottlieb on a conference call with us. All that kind of fun stuff is coming. Every bit of it presented and sponsored by X Insurance. If you don't have X Insurance, please go get the free quote. It's that simple, xinsurance.com. Get off the gimmicky stuff. Your life's on the line. Lee Williams, the gun writer. You know what it feels like to be able to say that? Welcome back, Lee. It's really cool. I'm giddy about it. I'm glad you're here, bud.
I'm happy. I can't tell you how good it is to be back.
Well, not only are you back, you're going to have a pretty large presence on the program. Your writing is going to be back up. We're going to be able to start using content from you that was stripped from us because of a bunch of liberal left loons at a newspaper who cancel writers because they don't like what they write about. Sound familiar, listeners? Does it sound familiar? All right, Lee, first let's talk briefly about the loss of Rush Limbaugh. I want to get your opinion on that as a newsman yourself. What'd you think when you found out we lost Rush yesterday?
Crushed. I mean, he invented talk radio, conservative talk radio. And you know what? You've got it too. The man, obviously one of the smartest people out there, but a hell of an entertainer too. You know, even the people I knew that didn't like Rush, always had to say that. That man is just entertaining. He has the ultimate voice, other than you, of course, and it just could really spin a tale well. And as you know, that's not easy to do.
You know what he did? There's an old saying. I had a conversation with a program director years ago down in Tampa at a very, very, very big station who, on the way out the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, had said this to me. He goes, remember this. This is going back about 10 years. He said, remember this. He said, radio is entertainment before it is anything else. It's entertainment. Before it's politics, before it's discussion, before it has to be entertaining before it's anything else. And he says, Rush Limbaugh, and I quote him now, his name was Steve Versnick. I'll say it. Steve, very well known in the radio world, and a super guy, was the program director at a big station. And Steve says, think of it this way. Rush Limbaugh has this figured out. He said, Rush Limbaugh, before he is a pundit, before he is anything, Rush has it figured out that he's an entertainer first. And you are absolutely correct about that. He was the quintessential entertainer. And it's really hard for me to believe I just said was in reference to Rush Limbaugh. Really incredible. World lost a genius yesterday. And by the way, all you haters, you hate-filled, rotten, sick, twisted liberals, the reason you're like that is because you couldn't compete with Rush. That's why he's got you so demented, got under your skin, living in your head rent-free. You'll get yours. Your karma's coming, believe me, when you think the way you do. You know, Lee, it's interesting. As much as I can't stand all the gun owners out there, I would never wish the vile hatred, or not gun owners, but gun grabbers, I should say. I would never wish this vile can't imagine wishing vile hatred like that on another human being. It's unbelievable. Have you seen some of the stuff they're saying?
Oh gosh, yeah, and I was sickened by it. You know, the people on the other team, they've lost their humanity, Mark. To wish that on someone, to wish that on anyone.
I can't describe it any other way than that. They have lost their humanity. Some of the things I'm seeing are just But this is Twitter. This is what we've become. That left wing echo chamber cesspool swirling around that you can't flush. It's a terrible, hideous, god awful place to be. All right, Lee, let's go now. And boy, oh boy, where do we catch up? How do we even get started? Tell me what you think since the Gun Writer column ended. Do you remember what your last column was, by the way? Let's go there. Let's start there.
It was something on our sheriff, welcoming our new sheriff here in town, in Sarasota County. A hell of a guy and an incredible supporter of the Second Amendment. Kurt Hoffman is the new Sarasota County sheriff. And, he is true blue. Life member, every other gun group you can think of. Every time he talks about firearms and guns, it's totally in support. They don't use, I think red flags with him are going to be only for the most severest mentally ill, dangerous type cases. There are counties here in Florida, not too far away, where they use red flags with abandon.
Pinellas.
But not with him.
Pinellas.
Yeah.
I said it. Pinellas.
And Pasco.
Pasco. I did not know Pasco was as bad. Now, that's Grady Judd. No, Grady's Polk.
Absolutely.
He's
I'm
Polk.
sorry, Polk County. Yeah, Polk County. I was wrong. Polk County, Grady Judd's team, using the hell out of those red flags.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. See, now let's go. Let's talk about, most of you across the country know Grady Judd. Grady Judd is very well known, and there's a lot of things I like about Grady Judd. I love what he's doing with sex offenders. And he loves doing it. He talks a big game about the right to self and defense when a scumbag gets blown away and a law-abiding citizen turns that life into a happy ending story by surviving the attack in their home. I love that. I love the way Grady Judd talks about that. But I would be interested to find out, Lee, if you know any more, because I have played the audio of his spokesperson when he was the head of the FSA, the Florida Sheriff's Association, telling the Florida State Legislature why there should be no open carry and that the right that owning a gun is a right, carrying a gun is a privilege. None of that made it out of her lips without his approval before it went to the legislature. Has he changed his tune, or am I misunderstanding Grady Judd?
30.
Nope. You're 100% right.
I hate to hear
and
that.
that's why I've always viewed the FSA, the Florida Sheriff's Association, as the enemy, because every time open carry came up, in the legislature, they'd trot out the president and some of the admin staff and just rail against it. And I really don't get that. And I think, Mark, it's all about control. And, man, they have harmed gun rights in this state. And I can only hope that guys like Kurt will get on that board.
All right,
and take it up.
We're gonna pick up right where Lee left off, because Florida,
20.
with DeSantis, a very pro-gun governor, very good conservative. Wouldn't be surprised to see DeSantis run for president in the very near future, if you know what I mean. Wouldn't shock me in the least. But what happens in Florida sometimes ekes out across the country. Back after this. Corey, to answer your question there, yes, I can. I absolutely can. But it's being done a lot over there. And I don't even know where you're talking about. I don't even need to know. It doesn't matter. But I can believe it. Yes, I can. I can. Gannett don't care, Gannett don't care at all. That's a fact, guys. Corey, I'm curious. Were you able to let me know down there with just a thumbs up or thumbs down? Were you able to complete the process? Hey, Douglas, Cochran, you mentioned the intro being loud. We may be able to correct that for you from this end. I'll double check that.
We're close.
Roger that.
And 30. No one cares about that intro. Not my problem.
back to Armed American Radio's Daily Defense with Mark Walters.
Welcome back inside these GunBroker.com studios with me. Fill your prescription for freedom around the country. I am Mark Walters, of course. This is on the Crossbreed Holsters microphone, and all of this is being presented to you by X Insurance. X Insurance. Make sure to visit that and get yourself a quote. Real insurance, not the gimmicky stuff that might not be there for you. That's the true story. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams. Let's go back to Florida momentarily, because that wasn't the answer I wanted to hear, obviously, but I thought I had made a mistake. When you said Pasco, of course, is north of Hillsborough County, which is north of Tampa.
Right.
Polk County is just east of Hillsborough County, borders Hillsborough County to the east. Central Florida, big county that Grady Judd's been running. Like I said, he does a lot of great work. You got some weird sheriff stuff going on down there with Bob Galtieri in Pinellas and Grady Judd over there in Pasco. Grady got famous, listeners, just to give you a quick, brief synopsis. Years ago, when there was a stop made, a young Jamaican kid was stopped. Two officers pulled up. One officer pulled up, a Polk County deputy, did not find the gun on a Terry Pat as the officer was walking back to the perp. Apparently there was about $20,000 in cash and drugs in the trunk, and the kid was able to pull a 1911 style handgun out of a smart carry type holster in his crotch and murdered the deputy on the side of Interstate 4 and then took off into the Florida woods, where a responding deputy who was coming out to search the vehicle with his dog realized what had happened. He gave chase into the woods, and the perp killed the dog and the responding deputy. You had two deputies now and the dog, K9 dead, at which point they, Grady Judd and the rest of the crew, I guess, Lee, they flocked out into those woods. It took them 2 days to find this guy, and when they did, when he came out from under a log, they shot him 65 times. And when asked by a reporter, why did you shoot him 65 times, Grady Judd's famous response was, because we ran out of bullets. And it was that incident that propelled him to the national spotlight, correct?
Absolutely. He was little known before that.
Well, well-deserved for what he said, because if we'd have had one more, we'd have shot him again. And that response, as I said, propelled him. But he later began saying some very suspect things relative to, supporting the Second Amendment, big Second Amendment supporter, but you don't need to openly carry your gun, but you don't need to have this. That's not your decision, Sheriff, is it, Lee? You wrote about this stuff.
No, and the most offensive thing, like you had mentioned earlier, is that carrying is a privilege.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, we could talk about that for a week, about how wrong he is and how wrong-headed he is. But that's what these guys think, man. I mean, yeah, I think he could be saved. I think if he spent some more time with, Florida's tip-top NRA lobbyist, Marion Hammer, maybe she could talk him into where he should be on this, because he is so well known. He has a loud, powerful voice.
Yeah.
But it is just he's not there, man. He is just not there.
Well, that's a shame.
Sad.
The reason I say that, because I've talked about it many times, when I left Florida, which I consider home, I miss it every day, particularly when the weather's like it is here now. But when I left Florida, Florida was 20 years plus ahead of the state of Georgia, where its gun laws are concerned. And right now, Florida will likely not catch Georgia in my lifetime. Now, I could be wrong. There could be some things happening in the legislature that may make it through. But at this point in time, we're going to get some really good gun bills passed out of Georgia this year, this legislative session, because Kemp is in lots and lots and lots of political trouble, and he needs the gun owner vote. I know people who have sat and talked to him. I have spoken to the people who sat in his office. And we expect some really, really good things coming out of Georgia. So it's likely that Florida won't see. But the reason I say that about Grady is because if they keep that mindset, and let's not forget, you have gun controls put in by your former governor, now Senator Rick Scott, because he caved to the liberal media crybabies after Parkland. You guys have red flags, and what else did he put? He did 3 things. What else did he do?
Oh, gosh. I guess I tried to suppress some of that. Yeah, there's a waiting period. And, right now, Nikki Fried, our ag commissioner, is kind of throwing her hat in the ring too. She just came out with this really horrible campaign style video. She's going to be running for governor, although I don't think that's going to happen in Florida. I mean, DeSantis is doing a great job, like you mentioned earlier, and he is steadfast on the Second Amendment.
Well, he absolutely is, and he's got a huge conservative following. And the fact that he, when he stood at the Florida border, excuse me, when he stood at the Florida border and told Joe Biden that any move to shut the border to his state he would consider an attack on Florida, made it very, very clear. Because I'll tell you what it made me want to do. It made me want to go right down and stand on the border, wave cars through. You come on. You can come on, welcome. No, Joe Biden tells us you can't come down here and cross my border. No, it doesn't work that way in an American state. So DeSantis is strong on that. But those gun laws, the reason we talk about this is because you go back to 1987, it was Florida that pioneered the gun laws. Now, here's how far behind Florida is, and I could say Georgia, but at least we have a bill that's moving and got legs, and that's constitutional carry. Utah just became the 17th state. Montana's next, Lee. Since you and I spoke last, there's been 6 or 7 states, brother, that have added constitutional carry to the books, right?
And that is the ultimate style of carry. No paperwork needed. It's a dream down here.
I got to, because I know DeSantis would sign that.
Yeah.
He would sign that just to tick off any liberal. I don't think Nikki Fried has any chance in Florida as long as DeSantis is in the face of a tyrannical, as long as you've got Democrats in control in Washington, I think DeSantis is very, very safe in the state of Florida. And I like seeing the state move purple again. It's purple. It's turning red again. I mean, it looks to be solidifying. Am I reading that correctly?
You are. You're 100% on that. There is a threat in D.C., and we need bulwarks in every state against that.
Yeah. Well, you guys picked up some red seats down in what would be considered normally a reliably blue area in Southeast Florida, which was remarkable to see. And I obviously those are DeSantis coattails and the fact that he is standing up to them. I'd love to see some pro-gun stuff move out of Florida and export itself. You know what I find ironic is that it was Florida's 1987 CCW that became the modern version of the concealed carry licensing, right? You would agree with that, Lee?
100%. Marion Hammer pioneered it.
She did. She really did. A long time ago. It was, she did. We go back to 87 for that. And we've gotten to the point now where the graph has crossed, that the law of diminishing returns have been attained, where now that everybody has a permit, we realize we no longer need a permit because the permit system has proven that law-abiding people can be trusted, and we're now moving towards constitutional carry. This is a natural evolution. But think about it. It took from 87 to 2021 to get to that point. You know, but here you've got almost half the nation. We're working towards half the nation with constitutional carry laws. So, you know, that's something that's happened since you and I last chatted on the program. Where else do you want to go? Pick the topic. I mean, you're the gun writer. Now you're back in the saddle. Let's go. Direct the show.
Well, I'm most threatened right now in what could happen in D.C., and I'm very, very curious to see what President Biden is going to do in terms of what I hate. Yeah, assault weapons. I hate that title. But modern sporting rifles, you know, he's under pressure. I just wonder if he's going to knuckle under and do it. He said he was. He said he's going to grab that Beto cat and come after him.
30.
Me looking in my safe would cost me a hell of a lot of money if, of course, I chose to register them.
Well, you know, here we come to compliance. And when we come back from the break, we'll talk to Lee about that, because let me remind you, if you don't know Lee, I'm going to tell you something you don't know about him. But if you do know him, you might need reminded that he is an AK-47 aficionado. He's an AK-47 aficionado, loves the AK-47 platform. We'll talk about that with Lee when we come back. But he's right about that, because this bill would be retro and bill you for those guns. And I'm also going to give you our good dear friend, longtime contributor AWR Hawkins headline. I'll leave you with this during the break. Report, this is today, Chris Murphy to put forward universal gun background checks for Biden. That's today. So all you Trump derangement syndrome voters who felt Trump was no good on the Second Amendment, thanks a lot for this. We're holding you accountable. Back after this. Last segment already, bro? Seriously?
Yep.
Corey, you're right. We need a 2-hour show anyway. And I'm about 2 partners away from being able to do that. If I can get the contract to do that. Now, if you guys want to be fun and start a GoFundMe, we can add an extra hour. How about that, huh? There's an idea, right, Greg?
However the money gets here.
Because we have to, pay the satellite and studio cost for, Greg has to earn a living. Yeah, I do need a second day with Lee, John. That's not a bad idea. Tomorrow I have covered.
Hour 2 Sunday.
Hour 2 Sunday.
I'm just throwing out a guess.
I could do that. I have to look at the schedule.
I assume we probably have the usual suspects first and third hours.
Yeah, third hour we do. But I am free. I was actually going to broadcast. I got to call them. I'm not going to be able to speak in Arizona. I pushed that to the limit. I tried even as early as today to get out there. And Mr. Gottlieb offered me to broadcast from his house out there, and it just wasn't going to work. I couldn't get arrangements in and out. Just the timing was terrible. Commercial flights to Phoenix are awful now. I mean, they running you through Chicago and L.A. It's crazy.
What?
That's coming out of Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta, where you can go direct anywhere in the world.
What about Southwest?
They were even worse than Delta.
Ugh. Well, Delta stands for don't even let them aboard, so. Do they still have Chinese takeout on Delta?
Steve at the Cove, if you're listening, I apologize on behalf of Greg. He knows not that you don't. He knows not that you work there.
Here we go. We're close.
All right.
They still have Chinese takeout on Delta?
I have
30.
No idea. The following segment of Armed American Radio is being brought to you by Defender Coffee. When you drink Defender Coffee, you're making a donation to a gun rights organization of your choice that protects and defends your freedoms. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, man, if you're watching on your television screens or your computer screens, you can see the condensation from my iced Defender Coffee in my Defender Coffee mug. I love iced coffee and felt I had to have one even though it was really cold today. It was one of those days where I got a cold chill. When I got up this morning, it was cold outside, and it just stayed with me throughout the day. So I figured some iced coffee would help me along. I love iced coffee. But nonetheless, here's the cool part. The buy 3, get 1 free. Now, I got to go over here and give you this directly from Derek. He wanted me to make sure, because I gave the wrong promo code out yesterday. It's not AAR. DefenderCoffee.com. Buy, and the number 3, get, and the number 1 free. Buy 3, get 1 free on any of those bags, and you can double it. You buy 6, you get 2 free. Great sale going on over there at DefenderCoffee.com, and here's the cool part. Anytime you buy coffee over there, you tell them where you want the profit to go. Mine goes to the Second Amendment Foundation, and so should yours. DefenderCoffee.com. SAF, of course, SAF.org. Alan doing God's work. He's out there in the Daily Mail today in what was a brilliantly articulated interview, but a wildly, terribly edited print version. The editor I guess they just had to get that thing out quick. But Alan's spot on, and we're going to go back to that headline in just a second because that's part of what he was talking about. MyPillow.com. Please keep killing it with the promo codes. Mike is thankful to every single AAR listener. I talk to his office at least once a week. And Armed American Radio we put more promo codes out to those guys and support them than two of the biggest talk radio programs during the daytime combined. And I won't tell you who they are because I don't want to embarrass them. Car, arms, of course, this is the gunbroker.com studios. If you can't find it at Gunbroker or on your store shelves, you can find it at gunbroker.com. North American Arms, we're going to bring Jessica to the program hopefully this weekend along with Dr. Ignatius Piazza. Frontsite.com/Mark. Frontsite.com/Mark. Ignatius has all kinds of cool stuff going on supporting us and the right to bear arms. He will be telling us about it on Sunday. All right. Lee the Gunwriter Williams. Alan's column or interview in Daily Mail today was talking about, it was titled Expert, Second Amendment expert, that'd be Alan, says Biden has instituted a four-prong approach. Now, coincidentally, Alan is on the program every week, has been for years. Our other longtime contributor and our political analyst from the show over at Breitbart, AWR Hawkins, lead story on the gun feed right now, report Chris Murphy to put forward universal gun background checks for Biden. And they're going to move hard on this, Lee. And you know it's coming, bro. You know it's coming. What does the gun writer think with Biden in office is getting ready to happen with this administration?
I think they're going for it, like you said. I think we'll see the UBX go forward, and I really do think he's going to go after modern sporting rifles. I hate to say it, but he campaigned too hard on it, and he's got people pushing him to the left constantly, every single day, more and more to the left. I think they've touted it like hell during the campaign, and I think we're going to see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go and touch that third rail of NFA registration.
Well, that would be third rail too. But if you see, here's the thing: you fail to take them at their word at your own peril. You have to take what he said on the trail, which was not very often because he was never out of his basement. Nonetheless, we're not going to fight that battle over again. I will say this, that while he wasn't campaigning, his campaign was talking about what he wanted to do with guns. And it was right directly on his website. We repeated it ad nauseum to try to get it to sink in. And it's on his page today. He had meetings with the anti-gunners. And by the way, Trump derangement syndrome voters who think Trump was the worst thing that ever happened for gun rights, I don't recall Donald Trump inviting all the anti-gunners in to talk to him all day long and not invite any of the pro-gunners in. I don't remember that happening because it didn't happen. And all you anti-gunners or all you Trump derangement syndrome voters out there that can't stand Donald Trump who helped put Biden in office are now about ready to get called out on the carpet. And this show is going to do it. We're going to call you out because you're partly responsible for this in a large part. Because Trump would have never signed any of these things that Biden is now campaigning for or pushing for since his campaign. Background checks are going to push hard for, Lee. They're going to push hard for this. They feel that one's the simplest one that they can parachute in on, right?
Yep, that's a foot in the door. That is a foot in our door.
All right. What is your recommendation? I mean, obviously you have a pen and, you know, your platform is coming back on the Gun Writer. You've got open mic here anytime you need it. So your voice can be out there. What would you tell listeners right now as we see this stuff getting ready to happen? What's your recommendation? What do we do? What are you going to do to try to put a stop to it besides the pen?
Very simple, 4 words. I will not comply. Period.
Yeah. Sheila Jackson Lee wants to put you in prison for 10 years if you don't comply, by the way. You know that, right? HR 127?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sheila Jackson Lee. You get the idea. That's what I think of her.
Well, and any law like that criminalizes good people I said it before. That's the definition of tyranny.
It is the definition of tyranny. That is jailing, even threatening to jail law-abiding Americans for the property they currently own if they don't follow your new edict. All I got to say, it says it at the beginning of my program. You bring a station wagon and a whole lot of friends. All right? Yeah, that's exactly what it means. I'm not
bring
giving
a lunch.
to you. Bring lunch. Sunglasses, too. All right. Because you're going to be, my house faces the sun, so you'll be where you're sitting parked in the station wagon is bright. All right, Lee. Here, where, Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, how long is it going to be before you have your site up, brother?
It'll be up next week for sure. We've already found a great platform. All of the content from the old site will be there.
That was my
so
next
every
question.
Story I've ever written will be there to be perused. So you're going to lose nothing. And I'm really thinking about social media. I mean, maybe Twitter, but Facebook is starting to scare me with what they've done. Yeah.
It should.
What they're doing. So,
and I got to be honest
Twitter.
with you. If you don't have to do Twitter, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I have no choice at this stage of the game. But boy, I'll be honest with you. If I had to start over again and I didn't have it, I wouldn't go there. That's the most god awful, hateful cesspool I've ever seen in my life. And it's
a nice tool, but it's a horrible place to be.
It really truly is. It really truly is. I mean, we all need toilets. We're all human beings, but nobody wants to swim in one, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Twitter is
absolutely.
like. I mean, it's just what Twitter is like. All right, well, we're getting ready to end. I hate this. I've got recommendations from people to bring you on the Sunday show and actually bring you back again tomorrow because it's just not enough time with you. So here's what I'm going to promise you, listeners. I'm going to talk with Lee about getting together a regular schedule here because we're going to help bring the Gunwriter back in form that he would have never even, we're just going to help the Gunwriter just explode. Oh, some folks will rue the day. They will rue the day. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, thank you, brother, for everything. And now hey, guess what?
30.
You're back.
Thank you, brother.
Lee, the
Very much
Gunwriter Williams is
appreciated.
back. You better believe it. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams. We'll be talking to him again real soon. I can promise you that. Tomorrow, David Coterie is going to be here to close out the week, and we've got a beautiful
15.
show lining up for you on Sunday. Until we meet on the radio again, take care. I'm going to run out of time. Caveman Clubs, you know the routine. I'll see you on the radio tomorrow.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by X Insurance. X Insurance on the Armed American Radio Network.
Another gift-wrapped hour.
I love Lee. He got so screwed. So glad he's back. I want to help him back on his feet over there so bad. You have no idea, and we're going to work to do that.
I don't even know the story.
He was writing for. He was with the Sarasota Herald. Hold on one second. He was with the Sarasota Herald Tribune for years, and he wrote a column called "The Gunwriter" for the Sarasota Herald Tribune, and they were owned by Gannett, who owns USA Today, large left-wing outfit, media conglomerate. And Gannett was bought, and the people that bought Gannett or allowed, somehow they went back and took back over what they had sold. The other outfit came in, and they had new bosses and new writers, and the ladies that were his new bosses didn't like the guns. So let's get me the Gunwriter. So they wouldn't let him write the Gunwriter column. He still had all of his work at the paper to do as a reporter. He's an investigative journalist, but they wouldn't let him write the Gunwriter column anymore with all his other work. So he lost the Gunwriter platform, which was a big deal for him. And they wouldn't let him. He couldn't come on this program and talk about guns. And I've been waiting for the longest time in the world to be able to tell that truth. And he's back now because he's no longer at the paper.
All right.
So the gun writer will be back as a regular on the weekday show, no question. Hopefully we can bring him back on the Monster Show as well and give him a much bigger platform.
Yeah, when you said who he was, I remember his name just from hearing you introduce him in other programs before I obviously was running the show.
Well, I think you had run the boards a couple times when he
Yeah,
was
probably.
on during the day. You know, because he was a regular on the show, no doubt. But he hadn't been on it's been a year and a half. I mean, see how fast time flies. He thought it was 5 months.
Yeah.
It's been over a year. It was 2019 in August. I think is when he was no longer. And he made the phone call to me. He says, "You're not going to believe this. I can't come on the show anymore." I said, "Why?" The new owners don't like my work. Huh? Really, literally, cancel culture before we were talking about cancel culture in that term. Unbelievable. All right.
It is.
Facebook fans, God bless you. And I will see each and every one of you on the radio tomorrow. I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose, Greg. You need anything?
No, I'm good. See you tomorrow.
All right, brother. Take care. See you.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that Brian Costa, that was a quick hour, man. The masked guest, I tried it. I tried in fun. I would have put the whole, we would have given him a fake name and everything. It would have been a blast. I would have put a picture of him up there with a shadow on his face, or maybe like the mask or something. We were talking about that. But he's going to take the chance, unfortunately. But he's back, and God bless him. He's a huge asset to the right to bear arms community. He certainly is. All right, guys, gals, God bless you. Still got lots of work to do. And I will see you on the radio tomorrow. We'll get the podcast out for you shortly. Hopefully the website. Let me double check while I've got you here. See if I've heard from the developers yet. No, still, I guess we're still looking at on track for launch of the site tomorrow afternoon. But we want it done right, so we're willing to wait. All right, we'll get the it looks like it's have no news. I'll let you know tomorrow. Catch you guys tomorrow. See you on the radio.